really don't like those picky eaters and the restrictive eaters that say like, oh no, I don't want to eat that, oh no, this is enough. So,
hi everyone, for those who are new here, my name is Mondy and welcome to my channel. So last week I talked a little bit about how to diet and how I was able to build a healthy lifestyle. But today I wanted to talk about 5 little tips to sustain a healthy lifestyle and how I was able to maintain my loss of 10 kilograms of weight. Coming to that, first of all, my tip is to make your groceries right. I really make sure to have whole foods and organic foods. I never grab towards processed foods. I really prefer to make them myself. And that's because I can decide what I want and how much I want to put in. If you buy pre-made foods, you should really read the labels because a lot of products they include taste enhancers and chemical stuff and just a lot of sugars, a lot of fats that are just not good for your body. So really make sure to, if you buy pre-made foods, if you, for example, don't have any time to prepare your food, then make sure to read the labels. And also what I find is very good about the food industry now is that they offer a lot of alternatives that are lesser in sugar and that are fat reduced, and that is a really good thing. And in a lot of products you don't even taste the difference, so then why not just grab towards the foods that are more healthy and better for your body. My second tip would be to control your portions. I really learned to minimize my meals throughout my diets. When I went through the phase where I lost a lot of weight, I had a so-called diet plate, and that is a certain plate I always use for all my meals, and I really made sure that my meals fit into those plates. That is a lesson I really learned throughout this phase because nowadays I can implement them, and I notice that my eyes, they always are very hungry and they think they need a lot, but actually my stomach doesn't need that much, and nowadays I eat much smaller portions than before. But this is just an example because it is not applicable to all foods, of course. For example, salads. I can eat salads in huge amounts and they wouldn't fit into my plate, and they don't need to fit into my plate. But still, you should be conscious of what you're having in your salads. And speaking to that, we will go to our next point, and it is to be aware of how much and what you're eating. And the keyword here is balance. Like, it's always all about balance. But before you can balance something, you still need to be aware of what you're eating. I find that there is like kind of a macro and a micro view onto that. For example, I mentioned in the prior point that I can eat huge amounts of salads, but you should have in mind what you're having in your salads. What I mean by huge amount is actually the base and the salad leaves and the raw veggies, but also on top there, of course, carbs and for example, couscous, rice or quinoa, or also toppings like cheese and salad dressings. But the dressings, for example, they could still have a lot of hidden calories that you won't notice because you think, oh, I'm eating a salad, it must be healthy. But then it could end up having as much calories as, like, for example, a burger, which is unhealthy. And that's the point of having a balance, is to see where are the calories and how you build your meals. And on the other hand of the micro view, we also have the macro view. And what I mean by macro view is that, for example, you know that you have some dinner plans with your friends or family, and to prevent having a caloric surplus, I make sure to have lighter meals beforehand. Like, for example, I will balance it out with having a lighter breakfast and a lighter lunch because I know in the evening I will have a big feast, and we don't like those picky eaters and the restrictive eaters that say like, oh no, I don't want to eat that, oh no, this is enough. So what I want to say with that is you should also plan out for the day what meals you will have and see, okay, I will adjust my breakfast and my lunch because I will have a big dinner. But it's not always about your psychological mindfulness, it's also about your body's physical intuition. Your body will tell you, oh, that smoothie served me very well for the short morning, but now I need something more hearty and filling. And this also refers to the 80-20 rule, where you eat 80% of your times very healthy. And for example, for me, I like to take the weekends where I can eat freely and eat whatever I want, but it's always all about the balance. My tip number 4 would be to never starve yourself. I experience this myself very often. Like sometimes I eat very little because, taking the example of before, I have a big feast in the late evening with my friends or family. Being able to finally dig into my food, I find myself eating hastily, having no consciousness at all about how much I'm actually eating, and that's even much more that I need. And also in a very, very fast pace that my hunger just overtook my digestive systems, which just needs a little bit more time to realize that there's actually food coming into my stomach. This of course was an extreme example, and you might have thought, why don't you just eat normally to prevent the feeling of hunger? But I like to overstate my situations to make the message clearer. And I also think it's a very common thing that you sometimes just aren't able to eat on time because they're just spontaneous hindrances and stuff you need to get done. So what I do against this is to always have some snacks prepared, which also brings me to the last tip. I always make sure to have some snacks prepared as my SOS pack. And I know it's almost impossible to talk about losing weight and dieting without mentioning at least once the water. But I won't speak about water, but instead I always get myself a Coke Light or a Coke Zero when I'm overly hungry to overbridge my hunger until I'll have my meal. And a little digression to Coke Light and Coke Zero, because my former colleague worked there and he told us that there's actually a little difference between them both, because they use different sweeteners and they have kind of a little bit of a different taste. And also I prefer Coca-Cola Light more because of the carbonic acids, and they're just more finely purred, so I find it more enjoyable. But the point is to have some sort of drinks that are low in calories or no calories at all. And what I really like is to grab towards some drinks that have carbonic acids, because I find that the acids would just stimulate my hunger and then I won't binge eat afterwards. But coming back to my SOS pre-snacks, I also sometimes grab towards snacks that are low in calories, like rice crackers or corn crackers. And also I just eat some type of fruits. But little disclaimer, a lot of sugar at one time can crash your blood sugar levels, so you should be careful about that. I'm not a nutritionist, that's why I don't give you some false information, and I still have to learn myself and experience myself to give you a very lucid answer to that. And I also try to incorporate more snacks and discover more food I can have as a pre-snack before my actual meals when I'm starving. So yeah, these were just my 5 little tips which I implemented after losing 10 kilograms of weight, and I also hope that they can help you a little bit maintaining your weight that you lost. And they're also very specific to me, so I don't know if they can help you, but this is just a little inspiration which you can try to implement. But everyone's body is different and everyone has different reactions to habits and different habits they prefer. But I hope they can still help you, give you a little bit of inspiration. If you want to see how I lost 10 kilograms, you can check out this video. I will link here or in the info card there. And also, I would be very glad if you could like this video or subscribe to my channel. This will help me a lot to grow and produce more content. And thank you very much as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.